Vehicles are bought for people's specific needs. Now, I don't know why anyone would buy a minivan. However,
the American pickup truck, 90% underutilized to become the champion of Home Depot.
Or maybe it's something like a Corvette, a true sports car, something to let your hair down a little bit, maybe a midlife crisis.
Or you could take the more practical approach to things by buying a vehicle that can go around the Nürburgring in 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Hello everybody and welcome back to Performance on Wheels. What we are currently standing next to is what Mercedes and AMG co-developed to be the competitor to the 911 GT3. This is the 2018 AMG GTR.
So guys, we're talking today about what that R means. We have a previous video on the AMG GT, which is a fabulous sports car in itself. But today we are talking about the things that we find interesting on what makes this the unstoppable track weapon that it is. Like, what's that Nuremberg time?
Like, I think it's 7 minutes, 12 or 10 seconds.
Yeah, 7 minutes, 10 seconds, which is pretty incredible, pretty awesome. So let's just get into it, guys. Starting up front
with the Panamericana grille.
Is that how you say it?
That is pretty sure
that's how we're gonna say it, right?
That's how I'm gonna say it.
Okay, cool. So everything about the car has been touched, has been designed in a way that it is it's purposeful.
So this is actually not aerodynamic, right?
It's not an aerodynamic design. I mean, even someone that's not very smart, it's like a straight wall when you look at it from the side, right?
Yeah, so how does it work?
So they have these vertical slats, so they're actually tapered, directing the air directly into the radiator, and then down below, we actually have these slats that are closed currently, and the active aero that's on this car, it's like 2 years of development to get it right. If the engineers did not come up with this active aero, the front end of the AMG GT would have needed like a 4-inch front splitter, like straight race car stuff. Yeah. You couldn't drive it around the street if that was the case. So what happens is these flaps that are down below here, they open up. It only takes a second for them to open.
These ones?
Yep, okay. Right down here. They'll open just briefly, and they'll let some cold air in. The whole cooling system gets a recharge, and then they close back. When they're closed, it reduces drag and it forces the air underneath the car, and that's where the next step in the whole active aero system takes place. There's a flap that's right under here that actually comes down at speed, and the whole concept is to reduce drag, increase under-car wind speed,
yeah,
and just keeping the car planted on the front end. And what's crazy is it doesn't really affect the back end of the car too much, and that's how we get that manually adjusted spoiler. So you can set up the spoiler for whatever track you're at, whatever day of the week it is. The steeper the angle, the more downforce on the car.
And the flatter the angle, the higher top speed you're gonna have.
Amen. The cockpit is obviously very similar to the other trim levels of the GT, but the GTR, man, when you get in and you hear the exhaust, you have the bolstering just completely hugging you. You get to grab hold of the steering wheel, the Alcantara steering wheel. Man, it's just a wild experience being in this car. It truly is. The owner on this car couldn't leave, well enough alone by any means.
No, he could not.
So he made it his own with some yellow pinstriping. We have the wheels.
We got some downpipes. We got a tune on ethanol, like 30%.
Something around that, but it's claimed there's about 680 to the wheels. So, this isn't your grandma's Oldsmobile anymore.
This is decently quick.
It's all right. It's straight rocket shit, man. I'm pretty sure we just got airborne on flat ground back there. That is wild. That is wild. The coolest thing I like about the AMG GTR is in the back of the car, so we'll get there in a minute. But continuing on up front here.
The next way to tell that it's a GTR is how wide the thing is.
Right, yeah, approximately 2 inches wider, both in the front and back.
Yeah.
One's a little over 2 inches, one's a little under. But there's also carbon fiber front fenders.
Yep.
So aluminum
on
on the
large
GT.
piece.
Right, and that just think of the work that takes to blend that into an aluminum door.
Yeah.
The hood and the whole like front end is still magnesium, like the other AMG models. We have that awesome carbon fiber roof. Every vent, every opening, every slit, it's all purposeful for aerodynamics. Like this car is 2 years of development to get the aerodynamics right. That's pretty impressive.
And it looks good,
too. It really does. The whole idea was to get rid of some of the luxury items and make this a track-focused car. So it's pretty silly to me, but they took out like the home link for your garage door openers, and they also took out the function where your interior lights dim. Apparently your car gets faster if your interior lights just abruptly shut off. It is a very stiff suspension. You can feel that this is a race-ready vehicle. It doesn't matter which setting you're in. If you're in comfort, if you're in race, then you go into your sports, like everything gets, it starts angry and then it just gets pissed off from there with every turn of the dial. Everything was touched. I mean, they went through all the suspension components, and they're specific to the AMG GTR. The lightweight aluminum forged double wishbone up front. Everything was touched, like even to the power steering pump.
You don't think that has something to do with the rear wheel steering?
No, it actually doesn't. It has to do with the larger front tires they put to get a little more meat on the ground around the track.
So how does the rear steering work?
The rear steering is an electronic system, so an electronic signal sent back there, and there's an actuator, and at speeds under 62 miles an hour, the steering is the opposite of the steering wheel.
So like this.
Right? And then at speeds over 62 miles an hour, it follows where the steering wheel is going.
So like that.
Yeah, so at lower speeds, it essentially like shortens the wheelbase, and then at speed, it lengthens the wheelbase for high-speed driving, giving it more stability.
That's pretty cool.
And that rear wheel, as you guys can see in the video, it moves about 1.5 degrees is what it does.
I have noticed riding in the passenger seat of the AMG GTR just how everything is so high quality in the interior. I mean, everything's super stiff. There's no movement. Very, very strong panels. Got the clicky buttons from every single button in the interior. The seat adjustments, everything just feels extremely high quality in here. And I really do enjoy that. I'd also like to say that the seat is extremely stiff. Right. The butt, the back, the bolstering, based on what I've currently played around with, there is not adjustive bolstering, but there's a good lumbar. This would be rough on a road trip when it came to these seats. Yeah, and we actually just got on a road that's got some movement to it, and you feel everything. You feel every little thing. You do. But man, I love every minute of it. Absolutely. It's a truly remarkable machine. And that's what's fun about the AMG GTR is you have the quality of Mercedes and just the absolute insane capabilities that the AMG team can come up with. To make a car a track weapon, you obviously have to, there's some pretty basic fundamentals, right? Yep. You need the car to be lighter, you need it to have more power, you need it to stop better. And you need it to have more grip. Right. All those things were addressed in the AMG GTR. The suspension was addressed, the braking power and the tire performance was addressed, and even the horsepower was addressed. I think it's like 77 more over the GTS that sounds about right. Factory. Now, I don't know for sure. I've read that it's just a retune, and I've also read that it's different turbos than the GTS. So somebody comment below. I don't know which one's factual for sure, but I've read both. I think it is bigger turbos. We'll go with that. The other stuff that's cool, so it had to be lighter, right? So carbon fiber, what else did they come up with to make the car lighter? It's about 33 pounds lighter.
but it's also a bigger car. It's wider, right?
On the underside, we were looking, and there's a lot more carbon fiber under there.
Right, and I was actually pretty impressed, or not impressed, I was surprised. I was expecting for the entire underside of the car to be covered.
And it's not.
Like a lot of other cars we looked at, like Vipers, C8s, like it's just a flat panel, and that's what I was expecting, and it's not. The underside looks very similar to the GTS. There's some different bracing that's going across the torque tube there. Going back to the rear mounted transmission, it's carbon fiber and it's got a different design versus the GTS. And then that whole tunnel that's connecting the engine to the transmission.
Like the torque tube?
Yeah, that's all like carbon fiber. I think that's where a majority of the weight savings came.
Didn't the owner say it was about 17 pounds?
Yeah, 13 or 17, somewhere in that area. But that's the bulk of the weight savings. Also the titanium exhaust, I think they gained or lost 6 pounds in that, even though it's like more exhaust than the AMG GTS.
Yeah, now we have a center outlet as well as the two outer ones like on the GTS.
Right, and it's still an active exhaust. I believe it's the outside ones that open up.
Yep.
It's the center one that is your all-time driving, your whatever mode you're in, the center one's always functioning.
And these outer ones have these carbon fiber strips above them for heat.
They look pretty good.
They do.
One thing I did notice that I didn't notice when I was in the GTS is this is your little backup sensor. It actually lights up back here and makes noise from this area when you're getting near something in the rear end. Nothing to do with racetrack, it's just something I happened to notice, thought I'd pass it along. This car is straight race ready, so we're just cruising at 40 miles an hour. We're in race mode. Our RPMs are at like 4,000. Like this thing's just ready to go. There's no computer shutting it down, bringing it back into comfort. It is ready to race, and that's what's incredible about it. The traction control system, when they're engineering it, they thought they'd be okay with 3 different levels of traction control, but that didn't do it. There are 9 different levels of traction control, so you can hone in on the AMG GTR, making it perfect for whatever your environment or whatever track you are on. Each one of those levels is different. It's not just mild to wild. Like there are differences throughout the setup of the vehicle with each turn of that traction control dial.
I thought this was a cool fun fact that I watched a recent documentary on. It has nothing to do with this car in specific, but it has to do with this car's paint. Mercedes has this matte paint that they use on a lot of their vehicles. It's usually an upcharge, but this matte paint is actually the strongest factory paint on any production car ever built when it comes to quality and durability, as well as trying to scratch it. It's actually a very hard car to scratch. Getting into the GTR versus the GTS, you don't really notice too much of a difference. It's substantially easier to get in and out of than a Corvette or a Viper, and it doesn't have a ridiculously low sitting position like those two. Yet when you're sitting in here, you have this great visibility, front and rear. It's just such a well-designed car when it comes to the interior. When it comes to the interior layout, it's pretty much the same as the GTS. We went over all of the technology in that video, so go check it out. Out of all views that we've ever gotten, only 2.1% of you guys have subscribed. So please, scroll down, hit that subscribe button. It's free. You can always unsubscribe later. Help us grow as a channel so we can reach more people like you that have interest in our content. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the video.
It's quite obvious that the GTR isn't just another letter that they threw on it. They reworked everything. I mean, the transmission's remapped. It's a lighter flywheel. That all ties into the 33 pounds being lighter. The performance is better. What is crazy to me is now that Black Series is out, and this goes around the Nürburgring in like 7:10, 7:11. They're claiming that goes around in like 6 minutes and 40 seconds approximately.
That is currently the fastest car in the world around that track.
And it's like the same car, yet just nastier.
Yeah,
so,
and it's got like a 2-stage wing in the back. He got a big old diffuser.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, it's the same as this, but more.
So this owner had a GTS, then now he has a GTR. Does that mean the Black Series is coming next?
Well, GTR Pro should be coming next.
Oh, then the Black Series.
Yes.
That only makes sense.
Yes.
Right, because I forgot about the Pro. But yeah, this current car, just so you guys know, it is on modified aftermarket wheels. They are a bit larger, so the stance is a little bit different. The factory coilovers are cranked down all the way. That is something that you can do. It's not necessarily easy to do on the R. On the Pro, you can do it just under the hood, but you need to get in there with a spanning wrench and whatnot on the R. I love this car. I really do.
Awesome. It's pretty hard not to love.
It's awesome that it's off the, not assembly line, but the hand-built line. Obviously, there's that handcrafted motor in there.
And the transmission.
And the transmission. And that it's just, it's an absolute weapon in all regards. Yet it's like a Mercedes at heart, so it's completely luxury.
Now here's the question. Why do you see so many GT3s but never AMG GTRs?
I think it's just the production numbers, and I don't know. I don't think this car is appreciated the way it should be.
I don't think it is either.
In the whole like car scene, I think people are like, ooh, Lambo, or ooh, GT3.
And this keeps up with them and somewhat surpasses them.
And it has a heck of a lot more class, in my opinion.
It does.
But I love everything about it. This would probably be my choice out of the three, and I love a good Porsche GT. Like, I love the way they look.
Yeah.
But it seems like you see them all the time.
You do.
You don't see these very often, and I like the whole unique factor.
The other thing, though, about the GT3 is you can get it in a stick, or this is only the dual clutch.
It's awesome, though. Come on.
It is. It's a fantastic transmission.
Right? So, guys, these are just a few things that we pointed out around the GTR today that we found interesting or cool about the engineering that went into it.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Comment down below what you guys think of the GTR. Maybe we got some other cool cars coming up, make some videos on. Have a great day.